We're going to do a question and answers. Going to try and do this as a regular thing on a Wednesday. Just answering questions you guys have emailed us or you've commented on our videos. Hi, my name's Charlie Thorburn. Welcome to Mordor Gun Dogs. This week we're going to just go over some of the questions you guys have asked. So one of the questions I've got is about the Zoomies. Anyone who doesn't know what the Zoomies is, it's when your dog tucks its tail between its leg and just flies around the garden completely like wild and out of control. They're basically just running off a bit of steam and having a bit of fun. People are like, what do I do? What do I do? You've got to let them have some fun. We don't really want them doing the Zoomies in the park and kind of running out in front of a road, but if they're having the Zoomies in the garden, really the only way to stop it is just stand in front of them and be like, hey, that's enough. Like you're stopping a cow escaping out of a field or a horse running around. You just get in front of them, make yourself big and stop them. I wouldn't be aggressive about it. I wouldn't be assertive about it. They're just having a laugh. They're just being puppies. And what you've got to remember is the way we've domesticated dogs, what we do essentially is we prevent them from ever growing up. By domesticating them, we've made them so that they remain puppies essentially all their life. If you see young lambs in fields, they will tear around and have lots of fun, and then they mature and they become these sort of deadly, boring white blobs that don't really do anything. Our dogs don't do that. Our dogs stay puppies, they stay big, full of character and full of beans. So the Zoomies is not something we want to stop, it's something we laugh at. We had a 17-year-old who did the Zoomies round our garden with Chino. The day before she died, she had the Zoomies on the Sunday morning. Sunday evening she had a stroke, and Monday morning the vet came. And so that was my lasting memory of Nala, is her doing the Zoomies round the lawn in a very fun, enthusiastic way. So it's not something we would stop. And it's when they're doing the Zoomies, don't even ask them to do anything because they're not going to listen to you. They're just having a blast. They're running off a bit of steam. Kids in the playground, just let them get on with it as long as they're not coming to any harm. What else have we got here? Ignoring the recall. What should I do, particularly in busy environments? How good's your dog? If it's really, really perfect and you're absolutely 100% about their recall in all the kind of easy-going situations, and you're testing them in a more complicated environment, you should be testing them at 10 yards, then 20 yards, then 30 yards, regularly recalling them, making sure that they're focusing. If your dog's kind of only okay and they're pretty good and they come back most of the time and you're wondering why they don't come back in the park, you're asking a dog to recall when you can't even get it to behave. You're just not following the rules that we would follow. We would ensure that it would be by making sure you've got a dog who heels and sits and stays and comes when they're called in the distraction-free zone, then heels and sits and stays and comes when they're called where there's a bit of distraction, and then does it all with a bit more distraction. Most of the time when people say, oh, my dog doesn't come back when it's in the park, it doesn't come back when it's anywhere. It doesn't come back any of the time unless it's just outside the door and it's coming in for its supper. So probably the answer to that is you haven't done enough training and you're putting the dog in situations it's just not ready to be in. What are the better dogs? Ones in the house or ones in the kennels? It's funny, I get asked this all the time because there's an old school kind of idea that if you want a really good gun dog, they've got to be in a kennel. Now, we keep all of our young dogs in kennels because I couldn't possibly have them all in the house because they'd all be interrupting the videos all the time. But most of our team, all of our team, their dogs are all in the house all the time. Young dogs, old dogs, their own personal dogs. They're not out in kennels. And they're awesome. They're really well behaved. We've got some great dogs who live in the house all the time. Ours are generally older. They've come to the house as a sort of 2, 3, 4-year-old rather than growing up in the house, because that's our kind of process. That's the way we work through it. But to say, oh, you can't have a good dog unless it lives in a kennel is not true. But it is very, very important that your dog has downtime. So all of the dogs that we would bring up in the house, all of our team, we'd bring them up in a cage. They wouldn't be just loose and free all the time. They would have some downtime. They'd be in their crate. They'd be in the boot room. They'd be away from us so that when we take them out, they're happy to be with us. The less eager they are to be with us, the more time we would insist that they were in their crate or they were in the boot room away from us. So that sort of distance makes the heart grow fonder kind of theory. It definitely has an effect on dogs. So if you want to have your dog in the house, that's great. If you want to have it in a kennel, you know, make sure it has some house time as well. But it is key to try and you know, have some distance from them, so they're not just with you all the time, because then you become this my servant rather than dad. Okay. Remember, you get out what you put in. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you all next time.